Listen, there's a specific behavior that makes women crave your attention so badly they'll do almost anything to keep it. But here's the twist. She'll never tell you directly. She'll never say, I need you. She'll never admit that she's been thinking about you all day. Instead, she'll show you in ways most men completely miss. And when you finally learn to recognize these signs, you'll realize you've had more power in your interactions than you ever thought possible. But here's what nobody tells you. There's one thing you might be doing right now that's actually making her more desperate for you, and you don't even realize it. In fact, when I reveal what it is in a few minutes, you're probably going to think I'm lying. But stick with me, because the psychology behind it is backed by decades of research. I'm going to show you exactly what triggers this response, why she hides it, and how to recognize when it's happening. Because when you understand this, the entire dynamic shifts. You stop wondering where you stand and you start seeing her behavior for what it really is. This isn't about tricks. This is about understanding female psychology at a level most men never reach. And by the end of this, you'll know the one counterintuitive move that makes her desperate for your attention, while her pride keeps her from ever saying it out loud. And I'm warning you now, what I'm about to share goes against everything your mother, your friends, and romantic comedies have taught you about women. But it works every single time. So, let's start with the uncomfortable reality. Why she'll never admit what she actually wants. And if you think women always say what they mean, you're about to discover the shocking reason why that's costing you everything. The hidden truth nobody talks about. Picture this. She texts you at random times. She asks what you're doing, but acts casual about it. She mentions other guys, but watches your reaction closely. She complains you don't reach out enough, but when you do, she plays it cool. You've tried being more direct. You've tried asking what she wants, and somehow the answers never match her actions. But here's what's really happening, and this is going to sound insane at first. The more confused you are by her behavior, the more she's actually attracted to you. Yes, you heard that right. That confusion you're feeling, that's not a bug, that's a feature. Here's why. Women are wired differently when it comes to expressing desire. While men tend to pursue openly, women test, hint, and signal. Why? Because vulnerability feels like weakness to her. Admitting she wants your attention feels like giving up control, and control is safety. In her mind, the moment she confesses how much she thinks about you, she loses leverage. She becomes the one who cares more, the one who's invested, the one who might get hurt. So instead, she drops breadcrumbs. Subtle invitations, plausible deniability wrapped in every interaction. And most men miss it completely because they're listening to her words instead of watching her actions. But here's where it gets wild. There's a specific type of behavior from you that makes this 10 times worse for her. Something that drives her absolutely crazy with desire, but she'd rather die than admit it. And I'm going to reveal exactly what that is. But first, you need to understand something crucial. Here's the brutal truth. She's already told you how she feels, just not with her mouth. Every time she reaches out first, every time she extends the conversation, every time she makes herself available when she claims she was busy, that's her begging for your attention without ever lowering her guard. Human beings don't just communicate with language. We communicate with patterns, with effort, with time. And when a woman consistently shows up in your life, even when she acts indifferent, she's screaming something she'll never say out loud. Which means, if you want to know where you really stand, you don't listen to what she says. You watch what she does. Because here's the paradox. The more she denies caring, the more her actions prove she does. Now, before I show you the exact sign she's already hooked, let me tell you about the biggest mistake men make when they see these signs. It's so common that 9 out of 10 guys do it automatically, and it destroys everything. I'll explain what it is and why you must avoid it at all costs. Keep watching the signs she's already hooked, but will never admit. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button. If this is already clicking for you, what's coming next will blow your mind because I'm about to show you the one sign that means she's already obsessed with you, and it's not what you think. Let's keep going. Here's the first sign, and most men completely overlook it. She initiates contact, but frames it casually. She doesn't text, "I miss you." She texts, "Just saw something that reminded me of you." She doesn't say, "I want to see you." She says, "What are you up to this weekend?" This is strategic communication. She's reaching out because she wants your attention, but she's packaging it as spontaneous or coincidental. Why? Because if you don't respond the way she hopes, she can pretend it didn't matter anyway. Watch for this pattern. The more someone tries to seem casual about contacting you, the more intentional it actually is. Nobody accidentally thinks of you multiple times a week. That's called being on her mind. But here's the crazy part. There's a way to respond to these casual messages that makes her obsessions skyrocket, and it's the exact opposite of what every dating coach tells you to do. I'll explain it in a moment, but first, you need to see the other signs. Next sign, she remembers small details, things you mentioned once in passing, a story about your childhood, your favorite food, something you said you wanted to do someday. When a woman files away random details about your life, she's mentally building a file on you, and people don't do that for someone they're indifferent about. Then there's the jealousy test. She mentions other guys, casually drops names, tells stories designed to make you wonder if she's seeing someone. This isn't because she's interested in them, it's because she wants to see if you're interested in her. If you react, she knows she has your attention. If you don't, she escalates. Now, here's what's fascinating. When she does this jealousy test, there's one response that makes her go absolutely crazy trying to get your attention. Most men either get jealous or act like they don't care. Both are wrong. The correct response is so counterintuitive that when I first learned it, I didn't believe it would work, but it does every time. Here's another massive tell. She makes herself available. Her schedule suddenly clears when you suggest plans. She's tired, but not too tired to see you. She's busy, but finds time to text. When a woman rearranges her life to fit you in while acting like it's no big deal, that's not coincidence. That's priority wrapped in casual language. And then there's physical proximity. She finds reasons to be near you, shows up where you are, sits close, makes excuses to touch your arm or shoulder. Physical space is personal space, and when she consistently closes that gap, she's telling you something her words won't. But here's the most powerful sign of all, and this is the one that proves everything. She notices when you pull back. The moment you stop initiating, she suddenly becomes more active. When you go quiet, she reaches out. When nobody, you're busy, she wants to know why. This is the clearest proof, because if she truly didn't care, your absence wouldn't register. But it does, and that reaction is everything. Now, remember that one behavior I mentioned earlier, the thing you might be doing that's actually making her more desperate for you. Here it is. And prepare yourself, because this sounds completely backwards. The behavior is this unpredictable attention. Not ignoring her, not playing games, but being genuinely unpredictable in your availability and engagement. Sometimes you're warm, sometimes you're busy, sometimes you respond quickly, sometimes you take hours, not because you're calculating it, but because you genuinely have a life. Why does this work? Because her brain is wired to solve puzzles. When she can't predict you, she can't categorize you. And when she can't categorize you, you stay in her mind. She keeps trying to figure you out, and that process of figuring you out creates obsession. Most guys are either always available or always distant. Both are predictable, both are boring. But when you're genuinely unpredictable because you're living a full life, that's intoxicating. Now, here's what makes this complicated, and this is critical. Even when all these signs are there, she'll deny it if you bring it up directly. Why? Because admitting it means losing the power dynamic. So instead of forcing a confession, you do something smarter, something that sounds absolutely insane, but works like magic. You acknowledge her interest without asking for confirmation. Stay with me, because this technique alone is worth the entire video. The strategy that changes everything. Warning, use carefully. I know what you're thinking. If she's already showing interest, why not just go Alan? Why not make it easy for her? Because here's the truth, and this is going to challenge everything you believe. The moment you become too available, too eager, too predictable, the chase ends. And when the chase ends, so does the excitement. But there's a specific way to maintain that tension that most men get completely wrong. They think it means being cold or distant. Wrong. Dead wrong. The real strategy is something I call engaged unpredictability. And it's based on a psychological principle. It's called a variable ratio schedule, and it's the most powerful form of behavioral conditioning that exists. Now, I'm about to tell you the one thing you should never do, no matter how tempted you are. This is the mistake that ruins everything, and it's the reason most men never get to experience a woman truly pursuing them. Are you ready? Never force her to admit how she feels. The moment you say, "Do you like me?" or "What are we?" or "I feel like you're interested in me," you've broken the spell. You've taken the mystery out of the equation. And mystery is the fuel that keeps attraction burning. Let her actions speak. When you stop needing verbal validation, you stop pushing her away. And that's when she feels safe enough to pursue you even harder. Here's something wild that's going to happen when you apply this correctly. She'll start doing things that seem completely irrational. She'll drive across town just to happen to run into you. She'll text you at 2 a.m. about something important that's clearly not important. She'll ask her friends about you. She'll stalk your social media. And through it all, if you ask her directly, she'll say, "We're just friends," or "I'm not really thinking about you like that." That's the power of this dynamic. She's begging for your attention with everything except her words. And the more you understand this, the more you realize you've been in control the whole time. The final truth. Look, I know some of this sounds manipulative, but here's the reality. You're not manipulating her emotions. You're simply becoming the kind of man whose attention is valuable enough that she can't help but pursue it. You're not playing games. You're building a life so full, so rich, so genuinely engaging that whether she's interested or not, you're still winning. And that's the ultimate secret. When you're not desperate for her validation, when you're genuinely living a life you love, the unpredictability isn't a tactic. It's just reality. You're busy because you're actually doing things. You're warm when present because you're genuinely happy. You're not always available because you actually have places to be. That's authentic, that's attractive, and that's what makes her unable to stop thinking about you. Even when she swears to her friends that you're just okay. If this is resonating with you, drop a comment with the word "thank you" so I know you're paying attention to what really matters. And hit that subscribe button, because next week I'm revealing the exact text messages that make her obsess over you for days.